Welcome to the 2021 annual meeting of the New England Museum Association. And what better way to start than by honoring excellence in our field? This year's NEMA Excellence Awards recognize individuals in our region for outstanding museum practice. Nominated by their peers, the awardees demonstrated passion, commitment, and vision in their work for and with New England's museums. Their work makes us better as a community of museum professionals and as a field.
Like all museums, when the pandemic hit, we had to pivot to a virtual format. Here in Concord, that effort was led by Allison Schilling, who at the time was our manager of public programs and happened to be our youngest staff member and most recently hired. The result, 24 History at Home e-blasts, resulting in over 100,000 substantive engagements with the general public, and 56 virtual forums that attracted close to 20,000 viewers. Allison worked long hours, taught herself these skills, and calmly remedied the technology when inevitably it failed. In the spirit of Ralph Waldo Emerson, her example encouraged us all. Never mind the ridicule, never mind the defeat, Emerson counseled. Up again, old hearts. The premise of our newly designed permanent galleries is to see Concord at the center of two revolutions, the political and military revolution of 1775 and the social and literary revolution of the Transcendentalist period. Simply put, Allison Schilling was at the center of a revolution that has forever transformed the Concord Museum. And for that, my colleagues and I are honored to nominate her for this award.
I'm so grateful and honored to be recognized by NEMA as one of this year's Excellence Award recipients. Since the beginning of the pandemic, I've converted existing programs to virtual formats and created new programming for adult and family audiences to engage with while at home. The success of these programs is entirely due to my creative, hardworking, and talented colleagues here at the museum, who have been the subject matter experts and on-air talent for gallery talks, a master class, videos from iconic places around town like Walden Pond and the North Bridge, and over 50 virtual forums. Museums play an important role as centers for building and maintaining community through meaningful, transformative experiences. The pandemic has taught us that, when used correctly, technology can be part of that effort. Thank you to everyone at NEMA for this recognition and for all of the good work that you do.
Carol Charnow was appointed President and Chief Executive Officer at Boston Children's Museum in 2010. She is a chief strategist, a fundraiser, and is a respected national leader in interactive family-focused exhibitions, programs, research, and collaborations. Under her tenure, Boston Children's Museum introduced New England's first groundbreaking access program for families receiving benefits, which is now replicated across the Commonwealth. She leads by example and inspires her staff to do the same. Carol Charnow epitomizes an exemplary supporter, role model, leader, team member, and mentor for peers in the New England Museum community and beyond. Congratulations, Carol, on this well-deserved honor.
Hi, I'm Carol Charnow, President and CEO of Boston Children's Museum. Thank you so much, NEMA, for this wonderful award. I'm very honored. And I also want to thank you for all the support that you've given to museums during this incredibly challenging time. I'd like to dedicate this Excellence Award to my incredible staff. Their creativity, their ingenuity, their resilience, their dedication, and their sheer love for the kids and families we work with is just completely remarkable. And I see my role as a CEO to create space and to provide resources for them to do their best work and to be able to help them realize their vision for the Children's Museum. I'm really glad that during the pandemic we've been able to keep open and provide an excellent experience for the kids and families that visit us in the museum, but also to be available to others through our online work, distributing kits and providing all kinds of resources to families through community and state agencies. So thank you again for this wonderful award. I really appreciate it and have a great conference.
Hi, My name is Suanna Crowley, and I'm an interdisciplinary scientist and researcher and museum consultant in the Boston area. I'm here to celebrate Doug Stark. Doug Stark has been my friend for 25 years, and I've had the privilege of watching his museum career grow from its very beginnings. I'm so pleased to have nominated him for the General Excellence Award, and I'm so glad that he's being recognized by the organization that he has dedicated so much time to as a member and as part of the leadership team. Doug is dedicated to sports and sports history. He has carved out a wonderful career interpreting and examining the history of sports and its impact on our human experience. He likes to build big things, whether it's another museum building or his next book, and he really enjoys being a part of the museum community that is celebrating him today. So I'm very glad to have this opportunity to celebrate Doug, to cheer for him, and to wish him well in his next many decades of career. Thanks.
Thank you, Suanna, for nominating me, and to Nima for this wonderful recognition of the 2021 NEMA Excellence Award. During my career in sports museums, it has been a privilege to communicate the history of America through the lens of sports history. The compelling stories of our champions, both on and off the fields of play, offer insight into the story of America: democracy, immigration, urbanization, globalization, courage, and resiliency. Through public forums, community engagements, and new visitor experiences, I am proud that the history of sports is now more engaging, relevant, and accessible to a diverse audience. And sports plays an important role as a form of cultural expression and an agent for social change. I would like to thank all my teammates throughout the years, and I hope to see everyone on a court or a ball field soon. Thank you.
I'm Sally Redmond, President of the Duxbury Rural and Historical Society Board of Trustees. Thank you, Nima, for choosing Erin McGow, our Executive Director, for your prestigious Award of Excellence. Erin is a masterful champion of diversity, inclusiveness, leadership, preservation, and outreach. She led the reimagining of one of our historic homes to focus on the sisters who lived there in the 19th century. She created an impressive virtual program using material from our archives and collections on the Cape Verdeans who worked in the town cranberry industry. She encourages and recognizes the talents of staff, members, and volunteers, and is quick to give them recognition for their contributions. She revived our lands committee that oversees 150 acres and set up a long-term capital program of repairs and improvements for our five historic properties. And in answer to the pandemic, she partnered with town businesses and organizations, installing large storytelling panels of the history of the spot they now inhabit, making the whole town a museum. So hats off to you, Erin, and hats off to Nima.
Hello, I'm Erin McGew, Executive Director for the Duxbury Rural and Historical Society. It's my privilege to introduce you to our organization, which has historic house museums, historic structures, an archival library, and also holds land in conservation. It is our privilege to be one custodian of our area's history. Thank you to our colleagues and volunteers, especially our incredible staff. You make my work possible. Thank you as well to Sally Redmond and the Board of Trustees for their nomination. And thank you to the New England Museum Association for the honor of this award. I'm really touched. It's a privilege to be a part of the museum community.
Hi, my name is Becky Bollier, and I'm the director of the Florence Griswold Museum here in Old Lyme, Connecticut, and it is my pleasure to represent my colleagues in our nomination of Julie Garvin Riggs for a NEMA Excellence Award. Julie doesn't just inspire people through the artwork that she creates, she encourages everyone to find that artistic spirit within themselves. From working with Alzheimer's patients, to outreach opportunities to the elderly, to those who are learning English as a second language, to those that are in underrepresented communities, Julie finds a way to make art a central language that everyone can learn from. I hope that you will come to the museum and get to experience the awe-inspiring work that we do here with Julie, and that you will be able to see for yourself what an incredible colleague she is and contributor to the art field. Thank you.
Thank you to my colleagues for this amazing opportunity and for always being supportive of my programming. There is a shortage of kindness and empathy in the world today, and I try to use those two things as much as I can in my teaching to help the people that I'm working with who might be in fight or flight mode. Women with cancer, children with cancer, battered women, homeless shelter, you name it. They really benefit from an empathetic based learning where the focus is on the process and not the outcome. And I really see the benefits of it daily. And I'm so thankful to be able to do this soul work. My mother always said when we were children, if you swim in a sea of kindness, your ripple effect will be beautiful. I firmly believe that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris Thierry, and I'm Chief Marketing Officer at Old Sturbridge Village. It is with great pleasure that I nominate Marianne Gubala to this prestigious NEMA Excellence Award. So just ask Marianne was a common phrase that I heard when I first started at Old Sturbridge Village. And asking Marianne could be anything from, best practices in social media or communications to what's the pulse of our membership and general audience. It could be for knowing what's trending in New England museums, or how to message a rain cancellation, or how to darn a sock for that matter. And most importantly, what time will the sheep be eating their afternoon meal this day? Marianne's commitment to excellence in the museum field is demonstrated through not only her deep knowledge of living history, but her daily work in the communications department. She represents Old Sturbridge Village in all of the values it embodies as the voice of our museum.
Like many museum and nonprofit professionals, I wear many hats on the job. I get to work with almost every department here at the village, including interpretation, museum education, collections and research, and retail. The majority of my time is spent in the digital realm, creating content for and managing our social media, our website, our e-news, editing videos, etc., etc. Particularly in the past year and a half or so, much of my time has been devoted to creating content for the virtual village. This project is only going to grow over the next few years. I also play a key role in the village's survey endeavors, both with our Village Insiders Panel research group and with members and visitors in general. Often you'll find me out here in the village with a camera in tow, either taking photos or videos. Soon you'll also occasionally see me out here in costume. It's great to have such a variety of tasks to do and so many unique opportunities here at the village.
Hi, I'm Neil Gordon, CEO of the Discovery Museum. It's not typical for a fundraiser to get nominated for a museum award, but Marie Beam is not your typical fundraiser. Let me tell you about some of the things that she's done. When we closed in March of 2020, Marie advocated that we pause all of our fundraising efforts out of respect for the other organizations that were working to meet basic family needs. She recognized that once we reopened that the Discovery Museum could play an important role in helping children regain a sense of normalcy. So Marie proposed and funded Free to Play, a month of free admission that served more than 4,500 people in 200 communities. Those families got a modicum of normalcy back in their lives thanks to Marie's vision. Wanting to protect the organization and our staff, Marie worked to counter the negative effects of the pandemic on the museum's bottom line. Her work resulted in us going from 30% contributed to 70% contributed revenue in 2020. We were therefore able to reopen earlier without any layoffs, and we've remained open ever since. But we did more than just tread water. Under Marie's guidance, a 6-figure Bridge to the Future campaign was fully funded by 2021. That campaign allows us to continue advancing our goals for environmental sustainability and for diversity, equity, access, and inclusion. Marie brings empathy, compassion, and a sense of community to her development work. And she also has a deep respect and admiration for the work of her colleagues. She's a trusted and relied upon part of the organization. Thank you and congratulations, Marie, from all of us.
At some jobs, it's not particularly fun to be a fundraiser. People usually don't like to talk to us at parties, and sometimes even our own organizations don't understand what we do. But this role at this time in the Discovery Museum's evolution has been just awesome. I remember meeting Neil Gordon, our inspiring CEO, for the first time. He said, "So I want to build this wheelchair-accessible treehouse." And then before long, I was being paid to talk to people about one of the most fun places ever. What turns the talking into donor support, however, is being at an organization that can entertain more than a little bit of magical thinking. Neil and my colleagues at the Discovery Museum, including my amazing development team, are experts at that, seeing beyond the work of something to the difference it will make for kids and for families. Discovery Museum is all about possibilities, and with the help of our equally creative and ambitious donors, it delivers. It is a real honor and pleasure to be of service here, and I'm very grateful for this recognition.